Legen. You see, you get what I did? I did like Legen, but it's not. I don't know, dude. I don't know how to make an intro out of that. So Legen is the second and final song off of the split EP that Hot Mulligan did with the band Everyone Leaves. Previously, I had said that it was their shortest song with I Played Tony Hawk's Ride Once and It Sucked coming in as their second shortest song. I was like half right. Legen is the shortest song they have at 1 minute and 20 seconds, but the second shortest song is actually One for the Boy that comes in at a photo finish of 1 minute and 21 seconds. Regardless, Legen still poses the same issue to me as Tony Hawk's Ride did, where it's very short and the lyrics are all bunched together at the beginning and end, and it doesn't really fit the format that I've come up with for this video. The last time that happened, I did a stupid little bit to pad time called Excerpt from the Holy Bible or Hot Mulligan song title. So I figured this time I'd do something a little different. I think the most comments I've gotten on a video is still the 11-second burp video, so I've decided to take a page out of every major social media company's playbook and drive up engagement by getting people really angry. So I'll be periodically taking a break from the video to give a view of mine that I think some people might consider a hot take to try to get people mad at me. And I've brought with me some hot tea to drink while I'm dishing my hot takes relating to Hot Mulligan. You see, I am just a creative cyclone. So each time I pause, I'm going to give 2 hot takes. I'm going to give a general hot take that is just like about anything. And since most people watching this care about Hot Mulligan, I will give a Midwest emo related hot take. So for my first general hot take, candy is terrible in every form. It tastes too sweet and it's bad. If you have a sweet tooth, eat a brownie like an adult. For my Midwest emo hot take, this is each project that Hot Mulligan's put out with 2 or more songs. These are the best songs from each of those projects, and these are the least good songs from each of those projects. I desperately want to explain my reasoning for that and justify each of my choices, but I think that would just make people less mad, which is kind of the opposite of what I'm going for here. Legen is a bit of a weird song to me because it's definitely a song about struggling with relationships and self-image. I say self-image in particular because we'll see later it's not just self-confidence that the singer's dealing with, it's like an actual self-hatred. But at the same time, I can't help myself but try to put a narrative over the song like I'm obviously want to do. The first half of this song has the singer coming home after talking with someone on the phone only to flee from them and the issues surrounding them to throw himself back into drinking. There's not really much evidence in this song to support it, but the wording here has always reminded me of other situations that come up in other songs of theirs. In the song Good Old Mr. Rags from the album Pilot, Tade sings about missing his girlfriend back home and hating being on tour. As is common in Hot Mulligan songs, he frames the whole thing by blaming himself and apologizing that he always has to go, and he spends the rest of the song trying to convince her that he wants to be home with her. I think the beginning of Legen might be about a similar situation. Not the exact same, but it sounds to me like he's been out on tour at a show and he hears the girl's voice on the phone and he can't stand it, leading him to just, yell, "Fuck it, I'm coming home." But the key difference between this and Good Old Mr. Rags is that in Mr. Rags, it sounds like Tades is singing about a serious long-term relationship, while here, there's a lot more turmoil. The second half of the song that we'll get to in a minute makes it clear that these two aren't together, but even here we can see it a bit. He says, "The ringing gets eerie," which I've always thought had to do with them calling one another. Maybe it's his phone ringing, like she's calling him over and over and he's getting overwhelmed and scared of his feelings. Based on the song though, I think it's more likely that it's the ringing in his ear as he calls her, and it rings and she doesn't pick up even after he drives all the way home to see her. Like, he had this big emotional explosion of, "Fuck it, I'm driving home, I'm coming home to see her, to talk to her," and then when he gets there, he can't contact her because she won't pick up, and it just rings and rings and rings. It gets eerier and eerier. And then, in response to that, he says he literally flees from issues to his coping mechanism, drinking. Alcohol as a coping mechanism and, emotional numbing agent is mentioned a lot in Hot Mulligan's music, but here he specifically mentions it in the context of fake friends in basements. That line fits with the whole, narrative, right? You're meeting up with people who you kind of know, but their opinion of you doesn't matter that much, so you can just drink and be a fool and do whatever, and you don't care what they think of you. The line "fake friends in basements" reminds me of another song that we've already covered though, Jimmy Neutron Had a Dog, So Why Can't I Have a Friend? If you haven't seen that video, you should. I think that one came out pretty good if I do say so myself. The whole premise is sort of this fantastical metaphor for the singer's struggles with friendships. In it, he gives up on real friends, deeming them too complicated and messy, and instead builds a robotic friend in his basement out of spare parts. was literally a fake friend in a basement. I don't know, it could just be a coincidence, but given how close these songs are in Hot Mulligan's discography and how often Tates and Chris use repeating visuals and metaphors throughout their songs, I'd like to think it was intentional. Second round of hot takes. General hot take. Milk is delicious and should be drank by everyone, children and adults. I drink 1 to 3 cups of milk a day on average, probably, and I've never broken a bone, and you can't tell me that that isn't why, because if you try to, I will plug my ears and I'll scream until you stop. And for the Midwest emo hot take, I don't think modern baseball should get back together. At least not just because people want them to. Let a good thing lie.
Shallow personality means I hope you fall in love with me for the way I dress, 'cause that's all I have is this and shattered confidence. Lack of personality means I hope you fall in love with me for the words that I wrote down for you. I'll throw myself across the room to get your attention again.
Okay, so I think the second half of the song is where Legend, despite its short runtime, really comes into its own. So I mentioned earlier that the singer is struggling with this relationship because of his own self-image. Whatever the context of the situation is, the core conflict at the heart of this song is the singer's view of himself. I said it before, but he straight up says this isn't shattered confidence. It's not a matter of him not being comfortable in his own skin, nor of him needing to project a stronger conviction in himself. Rather, it's that he genuinely believes himself to be less than, or useless. He thinks he has a shallow personality. This song isn't just some, oh, I'm the shy guy, but once girls open up to me, they'll get to know how great I really am if they just give me a chance bullshit. It's the singer begging and pleading with this girl to fall in love with him and giving her anything that he thinks might have any ounce of worth that he can give to make that happen. He wears the clothes he wears to make up for his lack of personality. The songs he writes are his only chance to prove to people that he's worth loving. And that interpretation gives one hell of an explanation as to why he starts screaming the next line. He'll literally throw himself across the room and scream these words because he needs the attention. He needs something. He needs her to tell him that she loves him because he doesn't love himself. It's like heartbreaking, right? This song is about a romantic struggle, of course, don't get me wrong. But to me, the big standout of the lyrics is that ever-demanding lack of self-worth. That line I mentioned earlier that might be a callback to Jimmy Neutron could also let us look at the song slightly differently. Jimmy Neutron is a song all about failed friendships and the inability to be vulnerable with people and the fear that you're the common factor causing all the problems in your life. And here, at the climax of Legend, in this supposedly romantic song, when the singer is screaming for the girl's attention, he throws in the line, lovers and best friends, seemingly out of nowhere. I may be misreading it or thinking too much about it, but I think that line, combined with the potential Jimmy Neutron reference, has always just made me see this song not necessarily just about begging a girl to love you, but begging people in general to love you or to care about you. Wanting to see people smile when they're with you, and wanting them to tell you that they care so that you know you're worth caring for. Now, I love every song that we've covered on this channel so far. Fenton and Honest and Cunning are sort of like this early era of Hot Mulligan that holds a pretty special place in my heart. I hope the 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 31 seconds I spent yapping about them is proof enough of that. But to me, Split denotes one of the first big changes in Hot Mulligan's music. We're leaving their rougher first couple EPs and heading into opportunities in their first official studio album, Pilot. Their music starts to take on different sounds as they grow and change as people and as artists. And with that, we'll see the lyrical content and subjects of the songs also change. Things get even more personal, heartfelt, and helpless at times. Through doing these videos, I've come to realize that I think Split is kind of a clear midpoint between these two eras. A celebration of the scrappy, emotional music they made before, but a clear indicator that they're going to do so much more. As I've found with every song that I've made a video on, I've come to appreciate Legend way more after spending some time with it. It's short, yes, but things can be cool and short at the same time. Like Tate's. Alright, last set of hot takes to close out the video. General hot take. Harry Potter was a fantastic premise that was horribly wasted on J.K. Rowling's talent level as a writer. Midwest emo hot take. There should be 0 to 1 openers before the main act at a concert. At very max, 2 openers. Listen, I know openers are a great way for other bands to get exposure and a great part of this culture and a way for bands to intermingle and get to know each other and foster that kind of creativity and relationships and whatever, and it's what makes this genre what it is. But god damn it, that is too long to stand up. I have fucked up little duck ankles and they hurt.
Fortnite, balls, skibbity toilet, Riz, double chunk chocolate cookie, fist fuck,